Welcome back to Boom and Bust. We're talking about the prairies and the economy in the prairies. Pat Kelly, we were just talking about the latest economic statement, maybe some things that weren't done. What should be done that's going to help the prairie economy a little bit more?
Well, I think for picking up again on the thread of the small businesses, they need to have some sense of hope of a return to normalcy, and it's great to hear success stories like the story of Vito Intervac and the great things that they're doing and the promise of some of the work going on there. But a small business needs to know that they can reopen, and there are critical aid measures that are necessary. We did see that the federal government made significant improvements to its rent assistance program, picking up on many of the criticisms that both the Conservative and other opposition parties raised in Parliament. But it's just no substitute for returning to a full employment economy. And we're adding tremendous debt to our country. Much of the debt finance activity is being done by the Bank of Canada, figuratively printing money, hundreds of billions of dollars. The long-term consequences of the unprecedented expansion of its balance sheet are hard to say. So there's tremendous uncertainty that the business community faces, large businesses and small.
MP Redekopp, what do you want to see for small businesses in your province?
Well, I think the issue of stability is very important. This issue, the point of all of the debt that the government is accumulating. Prairie people don't like debt. That goes way back into our psyche from decades and decades ago, and so we're concerned about that. And when businesses look at the scope of things that the government is speaking about in the hundreds of billions, $1 trillion debt that we face now, concerns come up about taxes and where things are going in the future. And in order to be able to plan for the future and in order to take the risks that are involved in starting a business, you need some sense that there is going to be stability and that the playing field is going to remain somewhat, the rules are going to stay the same for the duration of the business that you're going to do, or at least reasonably stay the same. And I think that's a big concern of small and large businesses, frankly, alike right now, that the rules keep changing, and that makes it very difficult to plan and to invest properly and to know how things are going to work in order to take that risk.
Douglas Richardson, you obviously represent a number of businesses. Anything on your Santa's wish list for businesses from the government?
Well, the one thing, Pat, Kelly has raised long-term consequences, and you, Tony, would know better than anybody on this telecast. In 2003, you were the provincial minister of health, and you faced a huge challenge in Ontario. My point is, post-SARS, I query what lessons we learned and whether we acted on them. And all I'd say is I understand what Mr. Kelly's talking about in terms of federal government spending, but let's not let this particular pandemic go without building in some structure so we do not repeat the challenges we're facing today. If we go backwards and we do not expend the necessary capital, like I'm arguing for Vito and similar facilities, we will be in the same challenging period as you faced both as a provincial minister and then subsequently a federal minister in 2003. Your audience probably doesn't remember the undertaking you took to go to Geneva in order to convince the World Health Organization to open Toronto up. People have completely forgotten the impact on Toronto, the mega center of this country, and when the World Health Organization said, don't come to Canada. If we don't learn from this experience and expend, I'm sorry, Pat, some capital to make sure we got the science right, we'll be back into this again.
Well, this has been
absolutely right. I don't dispute that we need to that there has to be a health solution in order to have an economic solution, and this is where I see the failures of the government to be able to procure and to do the proper approvals and to obtain and certify rapid test kit, at-home test kit, as well as to be able to actually deliver vaccines as quickly as possible. And we see that we are behind where some other countries are. And this is part of not having a solution and a clear path to normalcy in the economy.